Probably the one page that stays in draft form for many years, but not after watching this tutorial, because we will be creating a professional privacy policy in just a couple of minutes. To do that, we will be using a free tool from my buddies at Usercentrics. So we go to wp.discount/privacy-policy-generator, PPG. This link is also in the description of this video and of course in the comment section. And then we are at the website of Usercentrics. Here we can create a GDPR compliant privacy policy in minutes. And the good news, this new tool is completely free right now. So we press on Generate Privacy Policy. Then we need to log in or sign up with Usercentrics. Fill in your email address and press on Continue. Then create a really strong password and save it in your password manager. If you have multiple languages on your website, go over here and reserve your spot for the premium version. But right now we're only going to create the English version, so we're going to press over here on Generate Privacy Policy. The first thing we need is to give our privacy policy a name. This is important if you have multiple websites that you want to have a privacy policy for. So I'm going to name it Privacy Policy for my website called White Diamond. Then we're going to select a language for our privacy policy. I'm going to use English. If you want to use other languages, reserve your spot because they are coming. Press on English. Then we're going to select the legal framework. As you can see, more are coming soon. So let's go with Europe, press Next. Then we're going to fill in our general information because it will be used inside of our privacy policy. So fill this all in. Then the next step is if your organization has a data protection officer employed, then click on Yes and fill in their contact email. If not, just select No and press Next. Then we need to specify how our website is collecting and managing the data from our visitors. In this case, I'm using an e-commerce website. So let me walk you through it. The first one is the product and services. What services and products does our company provide? In our case, we are selling products, and that is clothing for men and women. Just like this. Then we go to the data collection. If you have a form that people can fill in and send, you are collecting data already. If you have an e-commerce website, like in this example, of course we collect data. So yes, we do. Well, we need to specify what we are actually collecting. In our e-commerce website, we are selecting the first name, last name. We are selecting telephone numbers, email address, addresses, and city. Payment information. In most cases, you are also collecting IP addresses, unless you have told Google Analytics, for example, not to store the IP addresses and connect them to your visitors. But most of the time you are actually doing this. You're also saving browser information and language most of the time. Sometimes operating systems, mostly not. What else? In my e-commerce website, I'm also saving some purchase history and also the payment method and history. I have to save these things for 7 years because I'm in the Netherlands and those are the rules for e-commerce websites. Let's scroll down and then we go to the purposes for data collection. Most of the time this data being also collected for authentication and security, because when people are logging into your website, e-commerce or just a normal blog as a subscriber or giving a comment, and we're also collecting this data to authenticate the user. If you're also using this data, for example, in Google Analytics with the purpose of customizing and adapting the user experience, you need to check this. But we're also using this data for content delivery, communication efforts. If you're ever going to send out an email or you're updating them, then you're using it for communication efforts. We're also using it for analytics and performance tracking. If you're also using this data, for example, a Facebook pixel, or you're using this data for marketing, like an email newsletter, then also check this box. Are you displaying videos anywhere in your website from YouTube or Vimeo, not your own hosted videos, but specifically from third parties? Then check this box. I'm not on this website, so I'm not going to use this. I'm also processing transactions on my website because it's an e-commerce website. Maybe you are not letting users to pay for products, then uncheck this box. Are you providing access to exclusive content? Then you need to enable this box. As I told you before, I need to store the data of my customers and what they bought and how they bought it for the government. So I need to be compliant with legal obligations. Are you doing R&D? Then just check this box, customer support. Of course, because I'm mailing them about where their package is and where it goes. And when someone calls me or mails me about the products, then I really going to use it for customer support. If you just have a simple portfolio website or a blog, then you might not be enabling this unless you are gathering leads information from your email forms. Then you are using it for customer support. Then I'm also going to check payment processing, and I'm going to use it for user engagement and retention. This is probably when you're advertising on your website, or you're just going to upsell and cross-sell them with some specific emailings. I'm not improving the public health, and I'm not going to ask them for user feedback and satisfaction. I also have tag management because of my Google Analytics on my website. Then an important one, where is your data located that you are using for storage of all this information? This really depends on where your hosting server is at. If you have followed my e-commerce tutorials, then you have chosen a server which is closest to your target audience. In my case, I have stored all these things in Europe. And then we can scroll down and we can choose which country in Europe. Well, I have used everything inside of the Netherlands, so I'm just going to search for it. The Netherlands, because my servers are in the Eemshaven. Then we scroll down and we go to data protection. Are we using measurements to protect the data on our website? Of course you are. So we're going to press yes. Then we need to specify these data protection measures. Well, of course we have SSL encryption on our website, standard. We also have access control because not a lot of people are allowed to go into my website. Only the admins, that's me and some people who work in my shops. And we're also doing security audits and monitoring if you did follow my tutorial about securing your WordPress website. Then Solid Security is actually monitoring actively our website for hacks and malware and all these things. Then we press over here on close. Then we scroll down and we go to data sharing. Is our website or app using any third-party services? Well, you are doing this if you're using, for example, Google Analytics, maybe Google Maps also, Google Fonts, in my case, yes. Are you using the Google Tag Manager? Could be, in my case, yes. Are you using reCAPTCHA on your website? I am, because of the forms. Then we scroll down. Are we also using LinkedIn, Cloudflare, YouTube, Vimeo, Adobe Analytics, all these things? Select the ones that are applicable for you. I only have these, and then we press on close. If you have more scripts running on your website from other third-party services than on this list, click over here on add more, and here you can add in the service name you are using. For example, I'm also sending some data to Omnisend. So I'm going to put in Omnisend over there. The provider is the same, the data collection. They are collecting their first name and also their email address, not the telephone number, but email address. So first name, last name, telephone number, and email for the purposes of communication efforts, but also, I think also content delivery, because I'm sending them emails with information, with content. And what are they doing? Customer support? No. Also user engagement and retention. That's it. And after that, we press on close. Then we need to specify the privacy policy link to this extra service. The privacy policy is here, so I go up and I'm just going to copy this URL and put it into my privacy policy generator of Usercentrics. There we are, and great, just keep it over there. Then we scroll down. Then we need to provide the URL to our cookie policy on our website. If you don't have that one, check out my video about creating a cookie banner also with Usercentrics. This way it will generate a cookie policy for your website. In our case, I'm just going to use this URL. And then we scroll down to the international data transfer and opt-outs. Are we transferring data to countries outside of the European Economic Area? Yes, you are, because most information will be transferred to those third parties, except of course for the name and the address. It all stays in your website. But IP addresses, the things they do, well, it will be transferred to your email client or Google Analytics. Then we are on children's privacy. Does our website have age requirements? Well, not my website. Then we go to direct marketing and communications. Do we ask our website visitors for consent to direct marketing? Yes, we are, and they can opt out from it during checkout. So we are using the direct marketing, email, and also SMS within Omnisend. It's possible. So yes, let's just check this, because in the future, you never know if I'm going to do that. Maybe you're also using retargeting or chat ads or push notifications. Just put them all in geo-target marketing, could be, and then we press close. Do we have an opt-out link in your email or text messages? Of course, by law, it's mandatory, so you have to put that in there. Then we have our data breach notification procedures. Do you want to add a response time for data breach notifications? Well, I think that's a good thing to have. So let's press yes. We are going to do this in, well, probably 31 days. We have figured out that there is something wrong with our website. How are we going to do this? Well, I'm going to do this with an email notification. And last but not least, here we go to the policy updates and changes. Do you want to notify users of policy updates? Nah, not on my e-commerce website. And do you require opt-in for material changes? No, they don't need to opt in. I'm just going to send it to them. Then we press generate privacy policy. Here we go. Well, that was really fast. I didn't even have to wait. And then we have two options to implement this script into our website. The first option is to download the entire HTML file, so we can copy and paste the HTML in our page builder. There's also another way to copy the HTML script. So we just copy this and then we paste this script on our website. A script is useful because it can be updated dynamically. So if you ever change some things around on your website, you go into User-Centrics, walk through the steps again, and then you can change it. Or maybe you want to add in multiple languages, then it's also useful, because in the future they will add in multiple languages, change it in User-Centrics, and you don't have to update your website because you have this script running on your page. But if your website is not going to change anytime soon and you don't like to have another script on your website, then just download the privacypolicy.html. And then you have it on your computer, and I'm just going to show you how to put it live on your website. After you've downloaded, we press on back to dashboard. Then we are at the dashboard of User-Centrics, and we see we have one privacy policy of the White Diamond website, the language, the framework, and when it has been updated. We can download the HTML, and over here we can just delete it entirely. I was expecting over here an action to also edit it. In case something changes on our website, then we can just edit it over here, walk through the steps again, download it or copy the script. That would be nice. Well, maybe in the future. All right, let's implement it on our WordPress website. Log into your WordPress website. If you're still logging in using WP Admin,
No!
that's not a very safe way, so please watch my tutorial about securing your WordPress website. Then we go to all pages because we're going to change the privacy policy. Scroll down and edit your draft or create an entire new page, completely up to you. And we're going to press on edit with Elementor. In my case, maybe you have another page builder, or maybe you just like Gutenberg. I can imagine that, but then you can just paste it in over there. Then we're going to search for the widget called the text editor over there. Just drop it in. You can also use the HTML, but I like this more. Drop it in over there. Then we click over here on text, and then we need to copy the entire HTML content from our file. How are we going to do that? Let me show you that. Then over here we see the downloaded policy. It is now an HTML document. Then you right click on it, you're going to open with and then select Notepad. Now we have the entire privacy policy in Notepad. As you can see, it has been marked up with HTML. Now that's something we can use. First of all, we're going to delete this div because we don't need it. Delete it. Then scroll all the way down over here. And you also will find here a div. So delete that also. Then press Ctrl A on your keyboard or select it all manually. That's okay. Right click on it and press on copy. Then go back to your WordPress website. Then in here, we select all this dummy text, delete it. Then we right click and we press on paste. Then we go over here back to visual and you will see our privacy policy has just been added to our website. This is amazing. Then the next thing to do is to style your entire page as you want to have it in your, in my case, e-commerce website. Make sure to also follow this tutorial to check out the cookie banner, because that's also something you need. It's also from Usercentrics. These guys really know their stuff. If you have any questions or comments, drop it down, of course, in the comment section. I'll always reply.